Benvenuto nella cucina italiana. Sono Roberto Porcaro. Where does this go? Here?
Yeah. Hang on.
Okay.
There we go.
This is my cucina italiana. Grandpa Porcaro is make ravioli and a pasta sauce. I'm going to teach you about ravioli. We start with semolina. Semolina is, this is imported from Italy. You can buy it at all of your stores that you'd like. And you can make all semolina flour if you'd like, but I mix it a little bit with white flour. I'm still experimenting. I'm putting more semolina. So this recipe will have 2 cups of semolina and 1 cup of white flour. So we start with that, and it's already mixed. And then we add, according to the recipe here, and this is my grandma's recipe, the old one, and here's the dough on the back side. It was written by my Aunt Christine, but my grandma right here, this grandma, Caterina, consigliere Porcaro, making the ravioli. She's teaching me. I used to watch her when they made ravioli every day for the Caro's restaurant in Burbank. And this is kind of a tweaked recipe. Now, you need to know this. All pasta, I don't care what it is, any pasta you've ever eaten is all made out of the same recipe. 1 cup of flour to 1 egg to a little bit of salt. I'm using 3 cups of flour, 2 semolina and 1 white, and just a little pinch of salt. In this one, it calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon. That's not very much. My grandma used to say a pinch because she had a little salt container like this on her stove, and she'd just go pinch, and that would be how much, 2 pinch, 3 pinch, and so on. That's how she measured it. And then you're going to take, with the ravioli dough, the flour, and then 3 large eggs. I beat the eggs so they're ready, and I'm just going to pour those in there. And then the salt that I already added, oh, it says 1/4 teaspoon here. And then here's the way my grandma made it. She put the flour, can you see this from there?
Yep.
Yeah, she put the flour on the table and make a little crater out of it and put the eggs in, then she'd knead it with her hands. That's kind of sticky, and so I'm going to do it this way. Now, once you mix those eggs in there, and once again, all pasta is made from 1 cup flour, 1 egg, and a pinch of salt. I'm using 3 and 3, and a bigger pinch of salt. And so keep it going, and then once it gets in there, you're going to use your hands. Be a good idea if you washed your hands first, like I did. But it doesn't matter, you're going to boil it anyway. Not the hands, but the dough. We're making dough now, and this is the dough for the ravioli. If you were to roll this out and cut it into strips, you can make fettuccine, linguine, lasagna, spaghetti. You can cut them and make them into shapes for macaroni, any shape that you want to. I had a machine for a while, but I didn't use it, and it was one that would make all the different shapes, kind of like the factory. The factory makes the different shapes. Now, as you see, this is starting to come together, and you'll have a great tendency to want to add water to it. I wouldn't do that just yet, because these eggs are doing their job. If you feel like when you get all through, it's still not wet enough, add very, very little water, like maybe in this batch, maybe 1 tablespoon is all. You don't want to add very much. Now, my grandma used to make this in the kitchen in the back of the restaurant, in Caro's restaurant in Burbank, California. And I'd watch her, but I was foolish enough. I was 33 when she died, give you an idea. Anyway, I didn't write down the recipes, but my Aunt Christine did, and that's what we're using right here. My grandma's recipe written by her daughter, Caterina. Now we're starting to come together. As you can see, it's getting a little bit more and a little bit more. This is the slow part right here. And at this point, I am going to add a little bit of water, but do it carefully. Poco l'acqua, poco l'acqua. Any of you speak Spanish, you're Español, Italiano y similar. I can speak the little bit of Italian that I know to somebody that speaks Spanish and they would understand. I had friends that went to Italy that spoke fluent Spanish, and they said they got by just fine. Now you see, it looks crumbly, but it's starting, so you don't want to get too panicky and add a lot of water just yet. It depends on the size of the eggs. I usually use larger, extra large eggs, and the ones that I used weren't graded that way. You can see a little bit of water that I'm adding. Now there's one magic trick that I didn't know when I first started doing this. Once you get your dough mixed in here, see how it's starting to stick to my finger? Because that part right there is too wet and the other part is too dry. So we're going to keep mixing those together so it'll come out more like that. One thing I didn't know is the magic is you have to let the dough sit for 30 minutes. So in a couple of minutes when this is good enough, we're going to let it set, and we're going to see how it's like that. I'm going to put it under a bowl, and we're going to let it set, and that water, that moisture will work its way through. So at this point, if I added too much water, it would, see how nice that is? And when we let them set like this under the bowl, they'll continue to hydrate, and that's what you want. Now when you look in the bowl, you'd say, oh, that's too crumbly, I got to add more water. No, resist the urge, don't add the water, or you're going to make a mess of it. So here's what we've done. I actually used the KitchenAid to do some blending, but that's when I made a bigger batch than this. When I made, this is a half of the recipe that my grandma gave me. She made it for several hundred. This one makes 125 on this one. This will make 125 squares. My grandma would make 250 to 300 squares at a time. They served ravioli in the restaurant daily, so she was making this every day. But my grandma, after she put it together like we are here, she would roll it out on the counter, well actually on the tabletop. I watched her do it on the tabletop. My grandma, my biological grandmother was Annie Potesta Porcaro, and she died right after giving birth to my Aunt Christine as part of the flu epidemic of 1917, 1918. And so she died before I was born. And she was still in her 20s. I'm trying to get this last little bit out of here, but I don't need it, so I'm going to stop right there. So my grandma would roll it out once it was cured under her 30-minute break. And she would roll it out on the kitchen table. And she would roll it real thin with a giant rolling pin that she had. It was made from a wooden dowel, like a broomstick, about the size of a broomstick. It probably was a broomstick. And she would, okay, we're going to make this to go to sleep. Stanco, go to sleep. Clean up my mess here. Let's take a look. The old recipe. We blended the flour. We're going to let it set, and eventually I'll cut that into quarters like this, and then we'll start to roll it. So half hour, we're going to stop here and go over and work on the spaghetti sauce while this is resting. Io sono italiano, non parlo italiano bene, ma capisco poco. And so I tell people when we're in Italy that I am Italian, and I go mezzo Italiano, that means I'm half Italian. And I'd say, I understand a little bit of Italian, but I don't speak it very well, but I understand it. I read Italian records every day, so I can read it, but it's hard to conjugate verbs. Okay, we're back to the dough. We did all of this, and we've got this wonderful, we let it sit here for a half hour, show you what this looks like. It's a nice, look at that. It's so beautiful. Some of the Italian grandmas, they're called nonnas. I say, how do you know when it's ready? They says, because it's a feel like a baby's bottom. And it's a baby's bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that and cut it in quarters so they're manageable, because if I ran that through the grinder, it's too big, or through the kneader thing here. And then we're going to lay it out on strips right here in front of me and sprinkle a little bit of flour on it. And then we're going to add the filling later. So we'll get to the filling in a while. Okay. Let's quarto. It's a quarto. Okay, we're going to come over here to my wonderful KitchenAid, and I'm going to put it on about it's loud, but I'm going to put it on a medium speed, and I'm going to tell you this before I turn it on because it's so loud. I'm going to put it on a medium speed so I could work with it, and I'm going to put it on this wonderful attachment. Now this attachment has adjustments on it, so you can adjust it from the open the widest, which is a 5. That's where you begin, and I'm going to knead it and fold it in half and put it through 5 times, and that makes it really nice. Now you see why we're going to do it 5 times, because the first time it came through, it's still kneading it, and it's making it come in little pieces. I told you something incorrectly. I need to correct it. You start this on 1 and you graduate it to 3 and then to 5 and you end up with 5. So I'm doing it on 1 and it's just going to be a general kneading. And I ran it through 3 times. I'll go 2 more. This is going to be too big for me, so I'm going to cut it in half and work with not a quarter, but an 1/8 now, because it's too big for me to work with. So here's the piece I'm working with. You can work with all you want. My grandma used to put it out and just roll it like that, but I'm too lazy. I want the machine to do it for me. Three. 5. Now that I went through and I kneaded it several times on 1, maybe 5 or 6 times, then I went to 3, and then I went to 5, and 5 makes it nice and thin. You don't want it thicker than this or it won't cook. I notice on some raviolis that I've seen, they make them too much. What I'm going to do is take this right about in half, like that, and I'm going to put the filling on 1 half, and then... Where's my roller? Help! Somebody stole my roller. Help! Help me! I had it right here.
Did it get pushed under there?
I had it in the bowl. There was a bowl and I put it in the bowl. But is that still running?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we can chop this out.
Because I'm going to be looking where it's supposed to be. I was sure I put it in that bowl. It's in the bowl. There, right the way I put it. This is a roller that you can buy anywhere. It's got a little edge on it that makes it real nice. I'm just going to cut this in half like that, and I'm going to work with 1 half. Now, if you think it's wide enough for you to put 2 globs of filling on, we'll do that. But if it's too narrow, we'll just put 1. I'll show you. This is the filling, and I love it. This is, I'll tell you the ingredients in it. Very simple. It's a 15 ounce of ricotta formaggio. Ricotta means cotta. You know what cotta means? It means cooked. So ricotta means recooked. It's cooked like cottage cheese. That's how they make cottage cheese, and that's how they make ricotta. They go through a process of cooking it. And I use a small one. I used to use the big one. And oh my goodness, I had 10,000 raviolis, too many. So 2 eggs beaten, and a half of a package of chopped spinach. You can buy it frozen, defrosted. I chop it again to make sure it's really fine, because that green that you see in there is spinach chopped up. The spinach is magic. It holds it together. It's like fiber, and it holds it together. That's what you want. Half a cup of grated cheese. I use Parmigiano, but you can use Romano or any kind you like, whatever your favorite is. Mine is, I buy it at Signore Costco. You know Signore Costco? Well, he's a good Italian, and that's where I buy it. I put in 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. My grandma used to say a pinch of salt, and that's all you need. Some people put a little black pepper in. If you do, just a pinch of pepper, or 1/8 is your taste. And then a teaspoon of dry parsley. The parsley kind of sparks it up wherever the spinach doesn't go. The parsley does, and it makes it look nice. We're going to mix all those together, cover them, put them in the fridge overnight so that there'll be a nice mixture. And then I'm just going to blob these. Sometimes I just use my fingers, and sometimes I'll do it like this. I'm going to put on, don't put too much, because if you put too much on there, it's not going to work for you. It'll like this one, a little bit too much. About like that. Can you see that from there?
Yep.
Okay, and there's room here. I can put a little bit here, and then a little bit here, a little bit more. I used to use a measuring spoon, and it would get stuck in there, and I couldn't get it out. So now I do it this way. You can do it by hand. Now, some people use the thing you squeeze icing like that, but I couldn't find any heads on the icing squeeze thing big enough, and it got choked in there. So I use this, just like this. So what we're doing is we're making the squares here, and where you want them. Now you can make them as big as you want. You're the boss. So if you want great big ones, make great big ones, because mangia bene, mangia bene. I'm going to cover it over like this, and then I'm going to push down on them to get the air bubbles out like that. Sometimes I use, is this going to let me go over?
Yep.
Sometimes I will use the little round part on a spoon like that, and I'll just lay it down and go like that, and kind of shape it. My grandmother used to do it. Well, you can't see it, but there's a big roller up there, yeah. And she would lay out a big sheet like this, and then she'd roll it over, and it would make the squares on one bottom sheet. Then she'd put the filling where the squares were, and then she'd put another one, great big one, over the top, and then she would do like I'm doing here. So when you're through, you can just cut it like that. You're going to use this again. So I just cut along. Don't get too close to the edge or you'll open it up again, and you don't want it to open up on you. Like right there, there's a little bit of green right there. So what I've done now is I'm going to use this again. This is good, so just use that. And then I'm going to go square, 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 and then up the middle. And that's usually one small serving for somebody. If you're only eating 6. I can't get by with 6, however. I need like 18. Now I'm going to loosen that up on there and make sure that it's movable, because I'm going to put it on a pan in a while and I don't want it sticking. So I'm actually putting it on some more flour over here, as you can see, just so that it doesn't stick. Now, when I'm through with this, I'm going to go do some more, but I'll tell you what we do with this. I'm going to put this up under here so it doesn't dry. I'm going to put it with the other so it doesn't dry. I'm going to get a pan, and we're going to freeze these. So you can do it any way you would like to, but here's how I do it. I get one of these, and I sprinkle some flour on it to keep it from sticking. That's the only reason you do that. And then I'm going to take these little guys, and I'm just going to place them on here so they're not sticking to each other, like that. And when this thing gets full, I'm going to take it out in the freezer and put it on one of the thin shelves out there. I won't cover it. I won't do anything with it. I'm just going to leave it out there for as long as it takes to freeze, which is usually about 20 minutes. And then we're going to package these in a Ziploc and then put them back in the freezer, or we're going to put them in some boiling water and we're going to eat them. So later we're going to eat some. Okay, you want to make some more?
Yeah.
Okay, you get that set, and I'll have you come over here and do it. You ready?
Almost.
Just get it all set the way you want it.
Okay. My mic doesn't reach, but that's okay.
Okay, you're gonna turn that to
Okay.
whatever speed you like.
And what does this need to be
And then
on
this
first?
one has to go back to 1.
So
we're
it
going to
goes
go
to 1.
1, 3, 5, and 1 you're going to knead it several times.
Okay, so we'll just...
Catch it as it comes through.
And how many times do you...
I usually do 5. That gets it pretty well mixed, usually. Now the reason it's coming apart there is because I put some of that dry that I cut off the edges, and we're going to get that blended in there.
I'll just mix back in with
Yeah, give it a squeeze and turn up one more notch.
Okay. And you want it to be wide?
If you can, yeah, and without any holes in it, so, yeah. It'll come, it'll get better each time.
Is it best to try to squeeze it back together?
Yeah, get it started, yeah, like that.
So that
And then
when the-
stretch it out, and then there you go. You see, each time it's getting a little bit better. It's still pulling apart. So keep doing it until it stays together. Just fold it in half. You notice each time it gets a little bit better. There's still some dryness in it there. So don't worry about that because you can keep kneading it until it comes out perfect. Just fold it in half now and then turn it. So yeah, so it goes a different direction each time. That way it'll crisscross it. See how nice that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now when you're ready, turn it to 3. Pull back and turn to the right. Okay?
Okay. And you keep doing that.
Yeah, don't fold it when you do that, so do it one more time.
Okay.
And it'll start pulling it apart again.
So now it's...
So just run it straight through without folding it.
Well, that one kind of got
Yeah.
caught.
Okay. Hold it now because it's yeah, there you go. Because it's got some, and then when you do get a nice one in there, don't fold it, just run it through. Hold that one up. There you go. Just what you did. That's perfect. Perfect. Okay, now don't fold this one.
You just put it through again.
Put one more. Now if that's too much to handle, you can cut it. But okay, now put it on 5.
Back end got...
Okay, is that 5?
Yeah.
Don't fold it, or it'll pull it apart again.
Well, that one was already...
Oh, okay. So fold this one now, because you might want to go back and start over.
Go 3 again?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Because if you fold it, it'll start pulling it apart again.
It pulled apart at the end on that last one. So.
Do that one more time, like that. There you go. Perfect. When you get through with this one, don't fold it. I'll turn it on 5 for you. When you're through, just move it over to the other side. Looking good. Just carry it over and put it on the flour over there.
Oh, that's a long one.
Those are the nice ones. Now figure out where half is on that. You could do it by folding it and then putting it back.
Probably about...
Okay. We'll just cut it. We'll just cut it right there.
Because that's kind of long.
Okay, now you put some stuff on there as much as you like. Remember, don't put too much or it won't.
About how much gap do you need?
Whatever you want, because you cut off all of the extra.
Whoops.
Yeah, whatever you design.
Okay, we're going to go a little wider.
Okay, then do
bigger.
Yeah. Now some people on theirs will have some whipped egg and they'll dip their finger in it and then run it along the seams there, and then that helps to secure it. I haven't had a need for that, but some people like to do that.
It's probably because you gap them enough.
Yeah, so put that other one on top of it now.
That one's not going to work.
Yeah, you got it, as long as you can pinch the edge. Now, push them down like in the middle and then between them, or use that or your fingers. I just do my fingers on it and get all the air bubbles out and kind of smash it down so it gets a good seal on it. Those are perfect. Yep, you're going to want to eat those. Now, once you get them all nice and sealed in there, why? Now, once again, my grandma would use the big roller, and she would roll over, and it would push down in there. Let me get that roller so you can see. I can't reach it.
Okay.
Okay, now decorate them up, cut whatever, leave enough room so that they don't pull apart. Go the long ways first and get rid of all that. Look at those. Those are gorgeous. Perfetto. In Italiano is perfetto. In Espanol is perfecto. Perfecto. Look at those. Those are scrumptious. Those are very, very, very good. Now, because when you cook these, you don't have to cook the cheese and the ricotta because they're already cooked. All you're cooking is the pasta. So you're going to have to taste those as you cook them. And it usually takes, well, here's one way. They used to tell me that if they came up to the top, they were cooked.
Float.
Yeah, but I'm not secure with that. So if they start to float, that usually that tells you that they're ready, but not always. So you'll want to taste them. And what I do is I just usually taste the ends. I cut off some of that and taste the pasta to see if the pasta is ready without consuming a whole square. Because if you tasted them 5 times, you ate 5 ravioli just to see. Put those on the tray and you are ready. Now we're going to do that a number of times here until you can take home a bunch of frozen ones. And each time you do it, it gets a lot easier. And pretty soon it'll become a system. Now I'm going to take this guy and put him to rest. Okay, do you want to set up any of your camera stuff here and before we do some more, or are you okay?
I think, yeah, let me go this model again. Okay, so yeah, when I come over next time, remind me and I'll flip the camera so that it can show me making the part.
Okay.
All right, so we go back to
1.
Yeah, good catch.
Yeah, good catch. Just fold it in half, and then if you'll turn it, yeah, that way it pulls it a different way each time. See how nice that is? Oh, that one's perfect. The other one kind of pulled apart because I had that dry stuff in there. But this is working great. Now when you're through, don't fold it this time, but run it through this one more time, just to smooth it, and it'll smooth it out. Now when you're
what if you got like a little hole area there?
Well, you can fix it by hand or run it through one more time, and it usually fixes it. Usually.
It's super close.
Okay.
Give it a little pinch.
Well, if you want, you can fold it if you want to. Or yeah, there you go. Chances are that'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're ready, you put it on 3. And if one time through is good, then just do it one time through.
Darn it.
Yeah. If you drop it on the side, usually it'll feed itself.
Oh, does it?
Uh-huh. Not always, though. Sometimes it pulls it apart. If it sticks. Okay, now put it on 1 when you're ready.
I think I'm going to do one more.
Okay.
Just because this spot up here is a little...
Well, you got the feel for it now. You got it.
Okay.
5. I said 1. I meant 5. Yeah. 5, 5, 5, 5.
What are all those other numbers for?
Just to graduate down, like if you're making fettuccine or linguine, that's okay. As long as it's out square, lay it.
Is that good enough?
That's good.
Actually?
Yeah, that is. That is.
So let me set this.
You may need to put some more flour under you. There you go. Yeah, you just don't want it to stick.
Let me hurry and switch camera angle here.
My grandma Caterina consigliari Porcaro would be very happy.
Yep, okay, here we go.
Molto felice, very happy.
Oh, I guess I didn't do half.
Just estimate. Yeah, this is all a guess. If you're real Italian, you just do it. You don't have to measure or anything.
Let's see, we got,
You can scoop this guy over like that and make room for another one there.
that will work.
This is a germ-free kitchen. We don't have any germs or COVID. We've all sanitized, and we didn't put the masks on because we didn't want to
Do that.
muffle it. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to check the sauce.
Try one, boy.
Sure, come try it.
Oh boy.
And just remember, the first couple of times is just experimental, so don't worry about it and have fun. That's a good sauce. You know that book you were looking at that has different words for different things in different parts of America? When you go back east, there's a little group back there, probably in New Jersey, and they call this, what do they call it? Gravy. They call it gravy. And that's not Italian. It's not gravy. And contrary to jokesters that say you test spaghetti by throwing cooked spaghetti on the wall and see if it sticks, they don't do that in Italy, or they'd have spaghetti all over the place. You taste it, and it's called al dente. Dente is from the word like dentist or dental. That means that you taste it, and it has a bite to it the way you want it. I don't like soggy spaghetti, mushy spaghetti. I like it so a little al dente, it's called. Okay, your turn.
Okay.
Oh no.
Need to wash your hands?
Oh yeah.
That's what I tell all my, in that book that I did, I had all the grandkids. So Cameron, I think he was, Cameron was in the class.
Yep.
And all of the married grandkids were all of them were in the class. And I even went to Washington and Michigan and California to do the classes. Well, we went there to visit, but ended up doing the classes and taught them how to make meatballs and spaghetti sauce and pasta and do all of those things.
Wow.
Paper towels are right on that door.
I'm blind.
You did it. You did it.
Figured it out.
Now here's one thing I do, Jeff, when I run it through on the number one, I kind of
Pinch it.
just kind of, like you're making a pizza, a little pizza, and then you're ready.
Consistency.
That's yours.
All right.
Now remember,
You want to reset that too?
yeah, I will. Remember, this is all experimental, so if it doesn't come out just right, don't worry about it.
I'm sure it won't.
Okay, now you set this where you want it. That's real slow. Fast.
Oh
But you set it wherever you want, and just put it in there without getting your fingers in there. And then you're going to bring it through and fold it in half. And then you're going to turn it and put it in again. So the last time you put it in this way, now you fold it and you're going to put it in that way. And you're going to do that about 5 times or more. So until it comes out so nice, just keep doing that. Fold it in half, turn it, run it
Yeah,
through.
when I learned that part, that's when it made it easier.
Did it? It kept it from pulling it apart. Yeah.
Because as I kept trying to put it through,
Did it.
Perfect. You're an old KitchenAider. Now, because it's still pulled a little bit apart, you don't worry about it. Fold it, put it back in. When you get a nice smooth one in there, do it one more time. When you get a nice smooth one in there, then that's what you're going to work with. So, how does, okay, fold it and do it one more time because it doesn't matter. You can do it all you want.
yeah, that turning it sideways on the fold.
Okay? Let's do this. Right? Without folding it now, one more time. Without folding it. Beautiful. Now we're going to move this from 1 to 3. Do it again.
No folding?
No folding. No folding on these. No folding at all. Just if it looks good, then we're going to move it to 1 without doing it again. Does it look good?
Oh, cool, yeah.
Okay, now we're going to do for a final, and the final one is on a 5, and you're going to have to catch it because it's going to be bigger than what you have now.
Okay.
Normally you could let it lay on the side, but sometimes it sticks on there. Now you're going to turn around and lay it on the flour over there. Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now figure out where half is. Okay, and then just cut it in half. And then just slide that over out of your way. Okay, now you're going to put that on with a spoon or your fingertips. And this is wide enough you could do 2, 4, 6, maybe even 8, possibly.
We'll see.
If you tip your spoon right up and then tap it without punching a hole through it, make sure you don't punch a hole through it.
Gotcha.
Okay, just keep doing that. See, you're a nice Italiano. Donna is a word for woman, donna. And
You want me to put that?
Did I put them a little too far?
no, you're fine. I'd try
One more.
and see if it works.
You don't have to put as much in those 2
Yeah,
side ones.
you can do those smaller. Yeah. Look at that. Your Italian wife over here making ravioli. Now these not a problem. We're just gonna eat that. Okay, now cover it and try to get the cover to go everywhere. Okay.
Can I stretch
You might be able to stretch it. Yep, I would, without pulling it apart, of course. But perfect. You're so gentle.
And you just
In Italiano, they say gentili, gentili. Okay, now you're going to kind of just go along here and close it off, and then down the middle and down the sides, and you're going to kind of push it together so it'll, yeah, like that, just exactly like you're doing. These guys are great.
Yeah, Cameron's can learn too.
Yep.
Yep,
In the bathroom.
I don't have to make one more ravioli, ever. Okay, we're going to do some, oh, you already did. I didn't see it. Okay, now you're going to take the little roller and cut off all the excess, but this one, don't cut too much.
close, okay.
And same with there and there, because you're pretty close. Just whatever you want, just to kind of make it look nice.
Because whatever's left is just noodles you eat.
Right, it's just like chicken noodle soup. That's how you make chicken noodle soup. You roll it out just like this,
Really?
and you just cut the strips. Phew, like this. You can use a knife or you can use that, and then you cut them in
Same
strips.
noodles, same dough.
Yeah, same dough. It's identical.
Oh,
You just don't put this in it. Okay, go ahead and make those into squares and then gently lift them off of there and put them on that tray. I'll get the tray ready.
The tray is almost full.
And then we'll put them in the freezer and look at that.
Awesome.
I'm getting hungry. I love ravioli. If you ever want to try, go ahead. If you ever want to try meat ravioli, that is my #1 favorite.
Oh, really?
But you have to take the meat, the same meat that you put in your sauce, which is 1 pound of sausage and 1 pound of beef, or if you're making smaller group, it'd be a 1/4 pound or a 1/2 pound, whatever.
And you
The-
want to splat those in the powder just underneath it a little bit.
Yeah, it'll keep it sticky. If you ever made meat ravioli, you have to put it in your blender, but don't make it into a puree. A puree is like peanut butter. You don't want to do that, but you want to chop it up so it's smooth in there. Otherwise, if you put meat in there, like that hamburger over there, it punches the holes through the thin on there, and then pretty soon they come apart in the water. Okay, we ready for Cameron?
Yeah.
Or if not, Jeff, go ahead and make another one.
It's so awesome.
It is, it's fun. Now, I need to tell you this, ravioli is one of the hardest things to make. So if you did ravioli, you made one of the hardest. Meatballs are easy, spaghetti sauce is easy, regular pasta strips, like if you're making chicken noodle soup, that's easy.
Crazy.
But that's the hard one, right there. So when you go back to the library, look up a couple of books on ravioli and see. So they'll look like this, and then I put them in, freeze them flat like this, and then I put them in Ziploc because they won't stick together if they're frozen. And then I package them for meals, and if they're packaged, then here's your finished product there before this. This is sauce. That's what it looks like when you're...
Beautiful.
And once again, they say if you boil them and they raise to the top, but I don't trust that because I feel like they're not cooked quite enough. So because these have extra pasta on the side,
Yeah.
take one and just take a bite out of one of the corners or cut it off if you want to. And then you could check the pasta and see if it's ready for you.
Gotcha.
I don't know how my grandma did it because when I watched her, she knew when they were cooked and she took them out and strained them and we ate them, but I don't remember her ever tasting them like I do.
She knew it that well.
Yeah, well, she made them every day for
Crazy.
the restaurant.
Just got this one spot.
Yeah, go ahead and you can fold them if you want to, or you can patch them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I already did a bunch of folds, and
Yeah,
I guess we can do one more. The last
It
time I
doesn't
did a
hurt, yeah.
fold, it actually ended up shredding it
Oh.
more
okay.
than it was before, so.
Are you on one? Is that where you
Yeah.
are? Okay.
Okay, I think I'm good there, so now we go to 3.
Uh-huh. I've seen some of these that they did on maybe 4, and they looked to me like they were too thick, like the pasta was too thick. You could try one day a 6, but it's so hard to work with. It gets so thin that it's really hard to work with. So 5 is good.
Well, I was gonna say the 5 felt like the pasta you buy in a store.
Yeah, yeah. But like I say, my grandma used to just roll them out, and then she would put the filling on one side and flop the top over, and then size them.
Voila.
One of my big regrets is I used to watch my grandma do this in the kitchen, that I didn't just interview her and write down everything that she was doing, or we didn't have this, but it would have been so nice to have been able to say, well, Grandma,
Okay.
like I used to help my grandpa make sausage, the links, and meatballs. And when we'd make meatballs for the restaurant, we would make like 400 or 500 meatballs, you know, like, because they had them for the restaurant. And you can freeze the meatballs and use them whenever you want to. Just put them in the microwave for
Buy 'em
a minute.
from Costco.
Yeah, Cusco, that's what I do. I get the Mario Cusco. See how you're getting a feel for that now? You just don't eat, you just go blub, 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 blub. You want to do some more?
Sure.
Okay, Cameron's got to do some too, so next one's Cam's.
I just washed my hands.
Yep.
I would recommend that once a week, at least.
What's the trigger?
Dough.
Dough.
That's too much.
In Italiano they say che bella, che bella. How beautiful, che bella, che bella. If you just did that when you went to Italy, everybody'd think you spoke Italian. Che bella. Bella giornata, that means a beautiful day. A bella casa, a beautiful house. Bella donna, a beautiful woman. You just, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, your dad's on his own. I don't have to show him anything anymore. Okay, we're going to take one of these guys. And I said in the book they're half, but these are quarter. And so you're going to come over here, set that on one, pull out, spin to one, and then set the speed, whatever speed you want. And you're going to run it through probably 5-6 times or more. And each time you do, sometimes you have to kind of help them do your pizza thing on it. And then when you get it, just fold it in half, like that, and then turn it, and run it through again, and do that each time. Fold it in half, turn it, fold it in half. Oh, at least 5. At least 5, because that gets it well kneaded. And then on the last one, the 6th time, don't fold it, just run it through again. I'm going to bump that up one. Is that one 5?
I think so.
Okay, don't fold it.
And then what?
Just run it through again without folding it. Right. Catch it, because it'll be a little bit bigger than when you ran it through.
Another plate.
Then we're going to put this on 3,
Okay.
and we're going to, I can't see, is that 3?
And then what?
And we're going to run it through just like it is without folding it.
Okay.
Catch it, and if it looks good, and it does, no holes. Okay, I'm going to put this over on 5 now.
Okay.
And this is the last time through. This time it's going to be a lot longer, so you're going to have to catch it. Beautiful. That's okay. That'll fix itself. That's okay. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Oh, it came apart.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you this, but we have to go back. Fold it.
Here. So.
One. I'm going to do it one. Fold it.
Okay.
Run it through one, just like it is.
Okay.
It'll squeeze it. It should be okay. Oh, that's stuck. Did it pull it apart? Okay, do it again. Fold it in half and turn it, and there you go. So we're just kind of back on number 1 again. That's good. One more time. And then the next time will be just open without folding. Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's perfect. Okay, watch so it doesn't catch. Okay, now we're going to put it on 3. Okay. Watch so it doesn't catch. Now usually you can lay it over on there and it'll come out, but I don't trust it. Sometimes they stick. Okay, we're going to go on the last one now. This is a 5. Beautiful. Che bella, bella pasta. Good. Lay it over here. We got enough flour? Okay, we do. Your dad fixed it for you. Yep. Find out where half is. Good job. Very good. Look at that.
I'd imagine.
He's going to outshine us.
He sure is.
Boy, I don't know, you're a
Just
60.
remember that the
You're-
curved end is
Yeah.
not going to go square, so you want to come
Yeah.
a little bit
See
short
this
of
corner
that.
off here? When it lays over, it'll be like that. So
You
where-
just go a little
anywhere-
short of that.
Yep, anywhere, just fold it, or cut it, I mean.
So cut it like right here.
Anywhere, sure, anywhere.
Okay.
That's it. Now put your
Pick a
stuff on
side.
it. And then you're gonna put a blob there, and a blob there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there. You'll have a half a dozen.
Good.
About half of that,
Half of that.
yeah, that's too much. And the reason it's too much is it'll pop the square apart. Yeah, there you go, got it. Perfecto. Start learning Italian, because when you go to Italy, go to
know.
Naples, that's where pizza was invented and
Yeah.
created.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna take this
We gotta
guy
fix
here,
that.
and I'm
It's
gonna
too much.
pull it over so it doesn't, because if it gets under there, it'll keep it from sticking. So you want enough,
You want it to be able to seal.
Okay.
yeah. Okay, what do you think?
Put that on top.
Flip
Okay.
the top.
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. Doesn't matter at all.
Just over it.
And then by hand,
Uh-huh.
do the hand thing, kind of pushing down like that, all the way around it, and then,
These are handmade raviolis.
yeah. Some of them, they have a little round device that you just, but I don't like round ones because my grandma made square ones. And they don't taste the same. And you could take the round thing like a cookie cutter and just go cut, 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 like that, and then take the round ones out without having
Do I
that
need to do them
little,
in the middle?
yeah,
Yep.
the little wheel, yeah, down the middle too, yeah.
Okay.
So
Look at that.
seal them all
Beautiful,
up.
beautiful, that's okay. Yeah, as long as it seals. Like I said, some people like to take their finger in some egg wash, they call it, and just put it on the edges if you think you need it, but I don't think we do. I've never used it. I think Lisa used it, or Andrea. Andrea makes marvelous ravioli by the hundreds. Okay, that little wheel there is going to finish it by crunching them down and making them sealed. And it makes it look so professional. Do your edges so you clean it up so it really looks nice. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. That's so nice. My grandfather came from Italy when he was 15 years old, and he couldn't travel alone. So his father was already in Chicago working for the railroad in 1880, 85, and 90. My grandfather came in 1900, 120 years ago. And the man who escorted him was his uncle. His,
Use the little spatula and then put it on top of some flour area. No, the actual, when you pull one out, then you tap it just so that it puts a little underneath it.
Tap it.
On the flour on
oh,
the
just so it has a little flour.
Like that,
Yeah,
yep.
The flour that you're working with, like over here, it just keeps it from sticking.
It's just keeping it from sticking.
In Italiano, you say mi scusi. Mi scusi. That means excuse me. Excuse me. Mi scusi.
And when you introduced yourself, you were saying, "Io sono."
I said, sono, I am, sono, and do you speak any Spanish? Poquito? Okay, it's in Spanish it's soy, soy. So, sono, I am, and then the name. Or you could say, mi chiamo, my name, or the chiamo means called. It means my name is called. Roberto Raffaele Porcaro. We had more fun. Grandma speaks a little Italian. Before we went, she spoke enough to get by, but she would get the little children over to her, and she had like candy for them, stuff like that, like a grandma, and they loved her, and she got them to teach her how to say the Italian words. Are you next?
So
Sure.
You know what?
Okay, we're going to start this guy back on numero uno. Numero uno.
and
Well,
now
you're
life
almost
is
through.
going again.
Because that's all you've got left. So, quando ravioli?
You made small ones.
5,
We made all big
yeah,
ones.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So you'll get 40, 50, 60. Yeah, I said this would make 125.
No, the 120 is if it's double that recipe. You have to.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And so I figured it'd be around 60
Okay, so,
because the recipe I had was
I wrote
double
on
that.
here it makes 125,
Yeah.
so that's not right.
It does that if it's
If it's the
what
whole,
my recipe
the whole
says,
recipe,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So 60 and 60 is 120, so
Yep.
that's right. Now, do you want to cook some so you can eat it now, or do you want to take it home with you and eat it
Yeah,
at
I think
home?
we should cook some.
Okay, then I'll get a pan going here. How you doing?
Number 5.
Okay,
Alright.
that's 5? Okay, one more. Oh, that's, okay, now we're ready to turn this to 3 and just run it straight through without folding it.
So normally you say you would freeze these and then you just cook them from frozen, or
Yeah, I just drop them in frozen. Okay, that's your last one. So we got flour over here. I had a little shaker that I shake on there, but I didn't get it ready.
bellissimo. Wow, that one's monster. That half just gets mixed into the next batch. So just cut that off there. Yeah. Because it won't fit out. Or you can do like one on that and fold it in half.
See, with this big pan here, I can not cover it and it won't splash, but with a smaller pan, you've got to watch you're not splashing tomato sauce everywhere. Well, you guys catch on so fast. Like I say, I've done this for all those grandkids, and some of them were too young.
Yeah, Jordan said that he was pretty young when
Yeah,
they did it the
and-
first time, so.
But we had a nice dinner, and we ate the spaghetti and meatballs. And look at that, she used that extra one. I never thought of doing that.
That was my idea. It's like,
Ever.
that's big enough to make
I
one.
I've never done that. Beautiful. You learn so fast. Oh, now you could pay a lot of money and go to Italy, and they would not have taught you any different than what you got today.
Nice. Custom
You
classes.
say benissimo, benissimo.
Benissimo.
That's very good. I cannot conjugate verbs. They're so hard. There's, all of the past, present, future
Yeah.
participles and
But you know, I bet people would understand you even if you conjugated wrong.
I have a vocabulary, and I went through the dictionary one time and marked all the words that I knew, because if you don't use them, you lose them.
Oh, sure.
And there were like way over 1,000 words.
Wow.
And I did this Duolingo. Have you ever used that?
Yep, I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And I got up to the high end of the middle, not the advanced, but the whatever the middle is.
Yeah.
Not the beginner, but the higher.
Yeah.
And then they started throwing sentences at me. And they'd ask me to write a sentence. Oh, I couldn't do it. I was getting, high scores all the time until I got to that.
Suddenly.
Oh, this is boiling already. I just turned it on. Okay. How many do you want to cook? And then the rest of them you'll take home with you. You tell me how many you want to feed to each person. You got 1,
Whatever they
2,
wanna eat.
3, 4. Mom would like a couple, maybe 5. So if you ate 5
And Tawny
each,
actually wants some cooked that I take to her and she'll
Already
heat
cooked?
up. Yeah.
okay, so
the
5, 6
sauce.
people. If you gave 5 to each person, that's 30. That'll be half. You can take the other 30 home.